What Zoids with the Gaang from Avatar the Last Airbender pilot? Well, let's have a look-see. Let's start with our boy Aang. My first thought for Aang, because he is the Avatar, is Xeno Rex, because it seems to be able to swap out parts and perform different functions and roles even faster than Liger Zero, including 2 variants that are able to fly. But in the end, Xeno Rex seemed a little bit too aggressive for Aang, so Bison seems like a better fit for Aang. Not only because Aang is a big fan of bisons, but bovines are generally very peaceful kinds of critters right up until you piss him off. Which seemed on brand for Aang. He's a really nice guy right up until you make him mad. Next up, Katara the Waterbender. For Katara, I went with Hammerhead. Not only is it a water-based Zoid, but it's also a lot more powerful than you would think. Plus, it can also fly, so you can get pretty creative with how you use this thing. Next up, Saka. I feel like Saka would pilot something old like a saber tiger, but he would probably also be the only one frequently upgrading his equipment as the series goes on. Next up, Toof. For Toof, I'm kind of torn between 2 different Zoids. My first thought was to give her an Iron Kong, a big beefy unit that can absolutely devastate anything around it with its big monkey fists. But I could also see Toof in a Mad Thunder. Mad Thunder is an absolute unit of a Zoid, weighing in at 600 tons, and it fights Deathsaurs with its face, which is freaking metal. Although if she had the choice, I'm sure Toof would pick something like a Deathsaur or a King Gojulus, whatever the most horrifyingly powerful monstrosity was that she could get her grubby little hands on. But I'm going more on personality than their own personal tastes. Now for our angry boy Zuko. For Zuko, I'm thinking Burning Liger. Burning Liger is an aggressive Imperial unit. It charges headfirst into every battle it's thrown into. It's also super easy to customize, which is really handy on the battlefield. See, the Gatling gun comes right off. You can swap it out with boosters or whatever. But for similar reasons, I could also see Zuko in an Imperial Red Liger Zero. Both Ligers seem like they would suit his aesthetic pretty well. That covers the Gaang, but let's do a couple more Avatar characters just for fun. Let's start with everybody's favorite uncle, Iroh. And do not come at me with Leaves from the Vine. I will cry. I could see Iroh piloting a Dark Horn, and I mean a real Dark Horn from the Dark Army days, when Dark Horns were a horrifyingly powerful unit on the battlefield, although converting it in modern times to no longer rely on the power source that the Dark Army used. This Dark Horn in particular is very special to me, as it belonged to my friend Orion before he passed away, which, if any of you are familiar with the voice actor for Iroh, yeah, it's pretty sad times. Moving on from the absolute goat that is Iroh to his much lamer brother, Fire Lord Ozai. Anybody else have a weird love-hate relationship with Ozai? I mean, he's voiced by Mark Hamill, who I absolutely adore, but every time the character speaks, I just want him to shut up. But I could see Ozai in a Zero Grisus. Or is it Grisus? Either way, I could see Ozai taking one of these bad boys into battle, this absolute monstrosity of a Godzilla monster, although I'm sure he'd scrape off the Xenobus logo, paint it red, and deck it out in Fire Nation stuff. He'd probably also have escort Zoids following around with giant Fire Nation flags. He had this whole grandiose brand recognition thing going on, like he was selling Nikes or something. Next up, the absolutely mentally unstable Azula. I could see Azula absolutely piloting a Gojulus the Ogre. It's not an Imperial unit, but it's big, absolutely destructive, and the organoid system this thing operates on usually drives people insane. Which I don't think Azula would mind too much. She really needs somebody to talk to, even if it is just violent voices in her head. And last before we go, let's leave on a more upbeat note, Ty Lee. Ty Lee would absolutely love a Dark Spiner. Dark Spiner has this very vibrant color scheme going on, so you wouldn't think it's that dangerous. But Dark Spiner specializes in electronic jamming, essentially paralyzing enemy Zoids so that it can walk up to them and pick them apart at its leisure. Which seems very on brand for Ty Lee's chi-blocking abilities. That was fun. Let me know what you guys think of my choices, and if there's any other characters or series you think I should do this on.